from the CNN News 18 Federal Bank Primetime Studio. God's own country witnessing its worst disaster since the 2018 floods. Over 250 people have lost their lives. Over 200 still are missing after landslides struck Wayanad's 2 districts. Given the kind of destruction that has come to light, sweeping away entire villages, chances are this could be the worst disaster the state has witnessed, surpassing the 2018 toll. Rescue operations are on a war footing. Army, NDRF, SDRF, other agencies are working round the clock and searching for missing people, providing urgent need also to those affected. The Chief Minister, former Wayanad MP Rahul Gandhi and Congress's new Wayanad candidate Priyanka Gandhi visited the affected areas today. But there is also political accountability that is being talked about. Now, Home Minister Amit Shah set the cat amongst the pigeons yesterday, accusing the state government of not acting on time, a charge that has been rejected since by the left government. The IMD has also rejected the allegations made by Kerala Chief Minister Pinarayi Vijayan, insisting that the state was prompted about heavy rains and landslides. Other ecology experts also say the government in Kerala has ignored several warnings over a period of time, and had they acted promptly, the impact at least could have been lesser. Did the state then really ignore red flags? Was business given priority over safety? We take that to our guests in just a bit. Home Minister Amit Shah earlier revealed that the central government had issued an early warning to the Kerala government regarding potential landslides on July 23. A warning that came 7 days before the tragedy struck Wayanad. He added that on July 26 too, the state was warned of rains and landslides, but the government did not evacuate people on time, or enough action was not taken on time. Now, Kerala Chief Minister Pinarayi Vijayan, countering Amit Shah's charge, said that the area had received rainfall exceeding the initial warning. He added that the red alert was issued only after the landslides hit, and he also hit out at the Home Minister, saying that his information is inconsistent with facts on ground. Now, the Indian Met Department has refuted allegations made by the Chief Minister, saying that the department did indeed issue orange level warnings for Kerala, which means that the local administration should have taken action immediately. The IMD added that the extended range forecast on 18th and 25th July had predicted heavy rains from 25th July to August 1. But it's not just the IMD. Even a Wayanad-based ecology organization claims of having warned the state government or the local administration. Now, one day before the devastating landslides, this environment organization tracking local weather data flagged the potential disaster to the district administration, and the same organization has now warned of more landslides that could take place not just in the district but in other areas as well. So first up, they predicted landslide based on readings from more than 180 measuring stations in Wayanad alone. The organization had said that rainfall of 600 millimeters or more in 48 hours could trigger landslides in Mundakai, which is the village that is affected. The centre sent out a warning, and even the panchayat was alerted locally, they say. And in 2019, they say, after a detailed study, the group had warned the government that Mundakai will not exist for too long. And actually, that's exactly what has happened. This entire village, along with another one, has been wiped off the map of the earth. This is already the biggest landslide-related disaster in the state and could well surpass the 2018 floods, as I said. But sadly, the centre says that this is just a wake-up call. So the same centre, the Hume Centre for Ecology and Wildlife Biology, predicts that more areas can witness landslides if heavy rainfall persists. It is clear that the state has some hard calls to take and assess whether entire villages are in danger still. The question we ask today is simple. There's been widespread death, destruction and devastation in Kerala. Is this because the Kerala government ignored red flags? I'll take that forward with our guest joining us in just a bit.
This place is about 20 kilometers away from Mundakai, that area where the landslide has happened. Here we can see that Indigenous boats, the fire force personnel, the police as well as the NDRF are searching for remains of people in this river and on the banks of this river.
23 जुलाई को केरल सरकार को अर्ली वार्निंग भारत सरकार की ओर से दी गई थी 23 जुलाई 7 दिन पहले
അതിനെ ഗൗരവമായി കാണാൻ നമുക്ക് കഴിയേണ്ടതായിട്ടുണ്ട്. ഓരോ ദിവസവും വർദ്ധിച്ചുകൊണ്ടിരിക്കുന്ന കാർബൺ ബഹിർഗമനം.
How can we just say no tourism? Of course we want tourism. Tourism is what's made the state famous.
Let's go across to our guest joining us. Pradeep Bhandari is national spokesperson of the BJP. With us, Professor Dinesh Vashni, leader of the CPI. Dr. M.H. Swaminath, who's former PCCF and chair of Excellence Forests and Climate Change, is joining us. I do thank you all, and more of our guests will be joining us in just a bit. But Professor Vashni, I want to come to you first. There is a problem, and that problem needs to be acknowledged. Clearly, these were areas that couldn't sustain what they were witnessing, and there are agencies or centers after center coming out to say that we warned the state government about this. Local organizations plus national organizations, we all know about the Gadgil report that has been talked about. Why did the state government not act?
Look, Shivani, first of all, the Amit Shah is lying the facts. The warning has not reached to the Kerala government. Comrade Pinarayi Vijayan, the Chief Minister, has denied yesterday, and it has been stated and shown to the press there in the Tiruvananthapuram yesterday. We are with those people, those who have died. We have deepest condolences, and we stand with their families. Over 3,000 volunteers of the CPI and the left parties, one revenue minister of the Kerala government, 7 MPs are there involved in the rescue and relief work. As far as warning is concerned, or one thing you should know, yesterday night there is a landslide and cloudburst in Kedarnath area. 10 people have died. 3,000 people are already trapped. This, you cannot say that the landslide will happen only in particular area. The Western Ghat area is around 15 to 16,000 kilometers. You mean to say that we should vacate the entire area? No state government can do, no national government can do, no nation can do it. It is
no,
impossible
the point
to do
is,
it.
I get your point. I get your point. No, I get your point, and the one in Kedarnath or near Kedarnath is actually a cloudburst, which is an even tougher situation to manage or to predict. But my point here is, Professor Dinesh Vashni and Professor Roni K. Baby, spokesperson of the Congress party, is also joining us. But Mr. Vashni, my point is this. I don't think the CM has refuted receiving alerts. The alerts are there for everybody to see. There is a mechanism. The IMD issues alerts. The CM personally may or may not have seen them, but there are agencies to take care of these things and district administrations to take care of this thing. So, and secondly, your point about you cannot vacate. The thing about these two villages that have been swept away in Wayanad, 2 days ago, is that local agencies had given warning, particularly for these villages like Mundakai. So yes, you cannot displace all villages, but certainly if there are warnings for particular areas, the state needs to be serious about that.
Look, state was serious, state is serious, and state always remains serious for the welfare of the people and the rescue of the people and in and around the danger areas. The problem is, even if you have early warning system, no early warning system of the world, any early warning system of the world can predict that the landslide will happen only in this area or this particular area. I challenge this. I know what is the IMD system very well. I've been watching the IMD system very well. The warning they issue, but they issue a journal warning.
Fair enough,
That
but
there
there is
may be
this
a heavy rain in the
agency,
Western Ghat
the
area.
Hume agency or the Hume Ecology and Biology Center, which says that in 2019 we warned you about Mandukai.
Yes, Shivani, look, practically, civil engineering point of view, you have to build a protective wall around all these type of hills. All these type of hills. Nowhere in India we have protective wall more than 5 feet. Whether it has to be from 20, 25 feet, 30 feet in some of the areas. Nowhere we have these type of walls, unfortunately. Because it requires a lot of money and center don't give money. That's a problem. That's a problem. And revenue problem is there also with the states. The center get maximum share of the revenue nowadays. Out of the pure pocket of the people.
This is not a nowadays problem. No, I don't think. Let's not convert this into a funds problem. No, Mr. Vashni, I think that will be very, very both insensitive and unsavory to convert this into a funds problem, because all the funds that Wayanad tourism is generating should also be sustainable and should also be helpful to the locals in the state. No, the state must be earning a lot of money from the tourism of Wayanad.
Wayanad.
Okay, one second. I want to go across to Roni, baby. I'm not denying. I'm not asking you to deny tourism. I'm saying all of that money that comes to the state revenue as well from the tourism should also go back to the public in safeguarding their lives. No, some part of it. I want to go across to Roni Baby also. The left government says the state was prepared. Mr. Baby, do you agree with this? Was the state government prepared? Agency after agency is coming out to say that we've always known that this area in Wayanad was always ecologically sensitive. There were reports by experts for years. I'm not just talking about the IMD alerts, but there were reports by experts for years.
It is very sad to discuss politics in this situation. This is one of the biggest natural calamity or natural disaster which the state of Kerala ever have been seen. But while we're discussing the issue in detail, I want to frankly say that the state government has not taken much sincere precautions regarding this issue. Because of we have before us many examples of state government which purposefully, I don't say purposefully, which neglected the warning issued by the central government. Because in 2018, I just want to recollect our memory, there was a cyclone in Kerala called the Oki. This cyclone was hit not far away from the capital city. It was just near to, just 5 to 10 kilometers near to the capital city of Trivandrum. 3 or 4 times the IMD has issued warning to the government of Kerala that you should take precautionary measures. But unfortunate to say that the government has not issued any warning related to this issue. And hundreds of fishermen were died, and still hundreds are still missing. While we discussing about this particular issue of Mundakai, yesterday, Honorable Minister of the LDF government is saying that this area is not it is not a kind of a natural calamity area. But I'm very sorry to say that 4 years back, it was 2020, there was a landslide just 2 kilometers near to Mundakai. That place is called Putumalai, just 2 kilometers away from this Mundakai, where this disaster happened day before yesterday. And there were series of reports, not only from the central government but also from the state government, that this area is a very highly sensitive area. And a report from IIT Delhi particularly pointed out that there should be the people should be displaced from this area. Otherwise, there would be chances for heavy landslide in the future. But you know that this particular disaster was happened in the early morning of 30th of this month. 29th of July, there was orange alert in that area.
Yes.
I meant that orange alert means there should be, it gives a warning to the authorities that they should take steps for evacuate people from the prone areas to safer places. But unfortunately says that the government has not taken any issue. It was only on 30th morning 6 o'clock. Morning 6 o'clock. That after this land, catastrophe has happened. The two landslides was one by 1:30 a.m. Another one was by 4 a.m. But the government issued only red alert only by 6 a.m.
Okay. Can I just quickly go across to our BJP representative as well? Pradeep Bhandari, the point that some are raising is that yes, warnings do come. They come for the entire state or portions of the state. It is not possible for any state to predict pinpointedly, as Dinesh Vaishni is saying, where the landslide is supposed to take place or could take place. So, to kind of accuse the state government that it was their laxity that led to so many deaths might also be exaggeration on the part of the MHA.
Shivani, thank you so much for having me on your show, and it's great to be on Network 18. Let me begin, Shivani, by saying that finally Rahul Gandhi has got time to come to Wayanad with 230 camera persons, from 7 camera persons from each angle, and after 72 hours, and it is great that after 72 hours he's standing with the victims. The Bharatiya Janata Party stands with the people of Wayanad and the victims of Wayanad tragedy. Now the question is that, Shivani, I want to debate on 2 points. Can I make my point, sir? You have your time. The anchor will give you the time. Do not get rattled. You can make your valid points. I will not interrupt you. Thank you. The Prime Minister was the first person who called on the Chief Minister of Kerala and took stock of the situation. The Minister George Korean was there on the ground zero and is still continuing to be there on ground zero. The BJP RSS workers are also on ground zero. Now let us not deviate. And my question is, Shivani, could the tragedy be avoided? Now the person is saying, let me give you 3 facts. Point number 1, Hume Center for Ecology and Wildlife 15 hours back had given a warning on the exact area of Mundakai that this is where the landslide could take place. This is the worst hit spot in the entire Wayanad. The question is, did after this warning the Chief Minister of Kerala took note of that? Point number 2, there were 3 warnings given by the MHA. Did Rahul Gandhi, as the Member of Parliament of Wayanad, called on the Chief Minister to take stock of the situation? Now this is not a recent phenomena, Shivani. If you remember that in the past also, out of 237 illegal resorts, there are 97 illegal resorts which have been there, particularly in the place of Wayanad. And the respected agencies had pointed out in the past that how this illegal construction, rampant illegal construction in Wayanad could create a situation of a natural disaster. So my question is, since 2019 to 24, Rahul Gandhi is the Member of Parliament from Wayanad. He was very well aware that this is a disaster-prone area. He was very well aware that various agencies in the past have pointed out that this illegal construction in Wayanad could cause a natural havoc. How many times did he raise this issue in the parliament?
But that's not the point here, no. But Pradeep, the point is you are focusing too much on Rahul Gandhi. The MP necessarily is not responsible for this. I mean, I find it a little... I find it a little bit problematic that Rahul Gandhi should shoulder the blame. Ultimately, this is the state government or the national agencies that are, warning of such landslides responsibility.
The job of the central government is to warn the state government. Disaster preparedness, at the end of the day, the primary responsibility lies with the state government. Now, question is, did the centre not warn? The centre warned thrice. The Minister of Home Affairs has pointed out. Now, if I take the argument of Dinesh Vaishni forward, that okay, fine, the havoc is too much bigger than anticipated. My question is, 15 hours back, just 15 hours before the landslide, Hume Center for Ecology and Wildlife pointed out the exact area. What did the Chief Minister of Kerala do at the exact area to get people evacuated at the exact area? You were knowing the exact area.
Okay, no, I asked him the same question as well. I'll give 30 seconds to Dinesh Vaishni to respond to that. Yes.
5 seconds, Shivani, just 5 seconds. Why am I questioning Rahul Gandhi? Because these are the individuals who are in a tacit alliance. So it is the responsibility also of the Member of Parliament to take stock along with the state government, and he cannot pass the buck saying that I was absolutely not aware, because he did not raise a single question in the Parliament about this tragedy from where he is as the Member of Parliament.
Rahul Gandhi's performance as Wayanad MP is a separate issue altogether. I don't think we should mix the two issues, because it's not going to do justice to the issue that we are discussing. Yes, the state government's responsibility should be played up. Rest of the politics, frankly, I am not interested in the BJP versus Rahul Gandhi politics in this.
People can question Prime Minister Narendra Modi for what happens in Banaras. Rahul Gandhi also has the right to be questioned that could the tragedy be avoided.
Fair enough. Like I said, that's a separate politics. politics going
Yes.
on. That is between Rahul Gandhi and the BJP. But Mike, I'll give Dinesh Vashni 30 seconds to respond to this pointed question, which is that forget about the IMD warning just as far as these monsoons are concerned. Let's say forget about the 15-hour warning that the Hume Center gave you. 15 hours possibly not enough to evacuate an entire village. But was the government even thinking about this? Because actually the ecological disaster waiting to happen in these areas has been pointed out for years. Can the government show material, any evidence to say that, okay, we had taken cognizance of this and these are the steps that we were taking? Maybe they were less, maybe they weren't complete, but we were aware of this and we were doing something about this. The problem right now is it looks like the Kerala government wasn't even looking at this.
No, Shivani, even from last 10 years we have seen when Binoy Vishwam was the forest minister, many of the construction which is falling in the danger zone of the forest or the hill area have been removed. It is not like that we have not done it. But our problem is entire 15,000-16,000 kilometers of the Western Ghat area cannot be evacuated, cannot be asked to go away. Number 3 is, I challenge Pradeep, go to any state where we have tourist places, show me where there is no construction. Whether you go to Nainital or Rani Khet or Uttara or Paudi Garhwal or Tiri Garhwal or Badrinath or Kedarnath, any of the Shivalingas area, you will find rampant construction on those areas.
Okay.
Problem is there is a ecological problem and human balance problem. This has
Yeah,
to
so
be
what do we
seen
do about
by
that?
The central government and the state government in
But
coordination.
no government is very
with each other.
serious about. No, let's not put the blame on the central government.
No,
That
we are
also is
serious,
not
Baba.
fair.
The moment
State
we
governments
talk
are in
about
charge
that,
of this. State governments better pull up their socks. They cannot wash their hands off when something happens in their states and also talk about how their states are doing extremely well otherwise when it suits them. I'm sorry. I'm not a votary of this kind of politics. If you want to claim credit for what is good in your state, then you've got to take the blame for when things go wrong. Don't pass the buck on the center all the time for funds or this or that. Sir, 1 second. I want to go across to Dr. M.H. Swaminath also. Naveen Bhatnagar, former DIG of the NDRF, is also joining us. And once again, your salutations to the NDRF and others who are doing amazing work in saving as many lives as possible. Dr. M.H. Swaminath, I want to come to you. There is a problem, of course, where there are too many ecologically sensitive areas, too many people, too much rampant construction, and the governments are incapable or inconsistent in acting on those areas. But what is the prime problem you think we have because of which these disasters are taking place?
Yeah, this is very unfortunate that this incident has happened and it has been happening repeatedly in these areas. And we know it happened in 1819 and so many people died. It happened in Uttarakhand. And see, India is one of the most, I think, fifth ranked in this kind of incidents that could happen, landslides incidents. And Himalayas, I think they account for nearly 78% of the area which are vulnerable, and they have been classified as most hazardous areas, and they are given different scorings. Similarly, Kerala also has been classified, and this area, particularly Mandakai, has been given 33.1%. And all the predisposing factors, to have an occurrence like this, were there. And also, it was actually, accelerated by this untimely rainfall. This is called ERE, that
Yes.
extreme rare events, where they call it as.
So 1 second,
And,
can I
there
just
were,
interrupt you? You said Mundakai has been identified particularly.
Yeah.
So therefore, having said that, do you hold the state government responsible for not acting? Because this is exactly the village where the landslide struck. Yes, it may have emanated a little bit above it, but the village was in danger.
Yeah, I think this disaster management, both state level and also central level, they are quite active. I think in Kerala is classified this one as one of the out of 39 disasters. This is one of the disasters, these landslides. So they are aware of it. They are recognized this as a major problem. And this one, particularly this ERE, this extreme rare event that is happening because of the ESO, that El Nino, southern oscillation that has that has been very active this year. And also we received very copious rainfall, particularly in this last 15 days. That particular day, I was told in the midnight, nearly 409 millimeter, I think, of rainfall and precipitation in just 24 hours. It has saturated the whole hill.
But
When
sir,
it happens now with such...
no,
yeah, with such
absolutely.
speed-
Of course, this only gets triggered when there is ERE, as you're
Yeah.
saying, extremely rare events and rainfalls. But I
But
want
it
to
also-
understand from you, in this case, the Mundakai village, which has gotten wiped out, there are warnings after warnings. The state government says, or the party concerned are saying that, you can't evacuate entire villages, or you can't move entire villages. What do you make of that argument? Is that an excuse sufficient enough?
No, I think if the danger is very imminent, then I think government has to put all its effort. There is no doubt on that. We cannot really hide behind some excuses. So I was told, that is what I gathered some information that some of the villages were actually evacuated, but this particular village people were quite confident that nothing is going to happen because nothing had happened for the last. Only 1984 in Mandakai something had happened. I think 40 people had died. So it is. I think it is very unfortunate, that people did not agree or government didn't do. But still, it was not predicted, so much rainfall, copious rainfall will occur, in that particular time.
So, sir, is that the biggest challenge then? Whether it's a cloudburst near Kedarnath or whether it is a landslide? We just cannot predict pinpointedly. We cannot know the extent of what could happen. Therefore, you have to pay attention to each and every warning.
No, madam. We have an hazardous map. This area is now highly classified as a vulnerable area.
Yes.
We should have preparedness, particularly in the monsoon. And this year monsoon, there are a lot of prediction models.
Yes.
We suggest that it may occur. So state governments, central government, anyone who are responsible should have
been alerted.
Response time should be very less.
Response time needs to be brought down. I want to go across to Naveen Bhatnagar as well. In such challenging terrain, we've seen certain videos of what the devastation in Mundakai and nearby areas has been. There was a bridge connecting this area that was also swept away. Obviously, the rescue and relief becomes extremely challenging. What, according to you, is the biggest, challenge for agencies like the NDRF in such situations?
Yeah, definitely. It is not today's or one-time challenge. We are facing this challenge since long. You can say in so many landslides and such type of incidents, we have met with the same conditions and same challenges, and we have the technique and the instruments with us, and we can rescue the people in the worst condition also. And also here we have the latest equipment with us with NDRF, and we are doing whatever best we can do. And we are saving the life of the people. But here I will say that this time people should not share their experiences or criticize each other, the government. In this condition, everybody should come with hands and they should support the rescue parties like NDRF, SDRF, Army, Navy, Air Force. All the people should make effort to give help to people. And
but sir, don't you think as former DIG, NDRF, don't you think if people on ground or the administration, the local administration, officers, governments, politicians acted on time, then, in some senses, the damage can be less. Agencies like yourself definitely wouldn't have to do what you have to do if the other agencies were alert enough.
Yeah, definitely. Because timely, if we will start the rescue operation, or when they got the warning, early warning 2 days earlier, so the state government should take adequate arrangement, and they should compel the people to evacuate from the red zone area.
Yes.
Especially in the red zone area, people were stuck there.
Okay.
And they have not been shifted from there.
Exactly. Now, this is where the question arises whether the state government was caught napping or not taking the orange alert when it was there seriously enough. I want to give all our political representatives 30 seconds each. Mr. Baby, I'm starting with you. Where does the buck lie according to you?
I'm very sorry to say that the BJP spokesperson pinpointing Rahul Gandhi is the sole responsible for all this issue. I just want to raise one serious issue here. It was the Manmohan Singh government. It was the second UPA government appointed Madhav Gadgil to prepare a report to protect the Western Ghats. And Madhav Gadgil report was there. Kasturi report was there. Since 2014, Modi government came to power. No steps has been taken regarding this Madhav Gadgil issue. It is because of the pressure from Karnataka government, Goa government, Maharashtra government, Gujarat government. All these state governments were ruled by the BJP. And this is the all measures were recommended by Madhav Gadgil to protect the Western Ghats, and especially, particularly this area, to protect from this landslide and other natural
Pradeep, please respond.
In 2020, Shivani, the Disaster Management Authority of Kerala had told the Kerala government to remove 4,000 families from the illegal settlements of eastern slopes of Western Ghats surrounding Wayanad. My question number one is, how many of these families were evacuated? Point number one. Point number two is that the central government repeatedly in the past has also shared warnings with the Kerala state government. At the end of the day, removing these illegal constructions is the duty of the Kerala state government. If you very well remember that out of 237 illegal resorts there, 97 reside around the area of Wayanad. Question number two, how many of these were removed? Question number three, the LDF government in the 2021 assembly elections has said that we could not remove the illegal constructions because of political compulsions. What are these political compulsions? It is reiterating at point number four. My question is very logical, that if you question Prime Minister Narendra Modi for what happens in Varanasi, my question is, as the MP of Wayanad, it is the most important issue in Wayanad. How many times did MP of Wayanad Rahul Gandhi raise this issue in Parliament? Not even once. I am questioning the intention. My question was not answered by Dinesh Vashni when I asked him that 15 hours back, last point Shivani, 15 hours back the Hume Institute raised the exact location where the landslide could occur. That was the most disaster prone area. How many families were evacuated by the Kerala state government from that issue, from that place? My point is that the will was not shown by the state government, neither by Rahul Gandhi, else the damage could have been reduced, is my point.
In this case, there is no denying, despite the challenges, Dinesh Vashni, it seems like the state government was caught napping.
No, not at all. We evacuated some villages, we issued the warning, we sent the advance parties there. We tried our level best to evacuate also, but the landslide happened early morning. People were sleeping. See the timings of the landslide. Number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4. All. It is not like that. As far as illegal construction is concerned, Pradeep, I would like to ask you, in Surat, there is a flooding water. Are you ready to uproot the entire Surat? What are you talking? You are talking rot. There are people, there are ecological problems, there are environmental problems, there are human settlement problems, there are settlement pattern problems. We have to see that in coordination.
No, but I certainly don't think Surat, an urban area, can be compared to a remote, ecological, green, hilly area, because that's not where people need to be. Surat has its own problems, or all urban cities have their own problems.
Same thing happened. 7 of the landslide has happened in Uttarakhand.
Yeah, Uttarakhand has the same problem, exactly. But you heard our experts speak, no, Dinesh Vashni. Himalayan area is anyways more prone. They have a problem. So nobody is excusing that. That's not an excuse for Kerala.
Also, Baba, Kerala is also zone 3.
Yeah, so that's not an excuse for Kerala to not be prepared.
It is also zone 3.
All right, I'll leave it at that. I do thank our guests for joining us for our top debate. We certainly do hope that more and more people can be rescued and brought to home safely. Slipping into a very short break, we shift our attention to what's happening as far as geopolitics in the Middle East is concerned. Israel has confirmed that Hamas military chief Mohammed Deif has also been killed in an airstrike last month in Gaza. This adds to the latest strikes that have been successful around Hamas. What next for Israel then? We'll focus on that in just a bit.
Car insurance.
To celebrations already, let's quickly cut across live reactions coming in.
मला खात्री होती मला खात्री होती की गेल्या 12-13 वर्षाची स्वप्नची तपश्चर्या, त्याचं जे कष्ट आहे तो कधी भुलणार नाही आणि आपला तिरंगा झेंडा तो कधीही खाली पडू देणार नव्हता याची मला खात्री होती. भले तो तिसरा आला तरी चालेल, पण त्यांना तिरंगा ध्वज आपला फडकत ठेवलेला आहे याचा मला अभिमान वाटतो. धन्यवाद.
भारत देशात सगळा झेंडा फत्करला त्याचा अभिमान आहे मला. जय हिंद, जय महाराष्ट्र.
वाटत आहे की माझ्या भावाने आपल्या देशासाठी ब्रॉन्झ मेडल मिळालं, त्याबद्दल मी सर्व देशवासियांचे आभारी आहे आणि पूर्ण सगळे जगातले ज्यांनी बघितले आहे त्यांना सर्वांचे मी मनपूर्वक आभारी आहे.
काय कशा पद्धतीने सपोर्ट केला तुम्ही फॅमिली म्हणून?
गेले अनेक वर्षे, गेले 14-15 वर्ष आम्ही त्याच्यासाठी जे पर्यावरण कष्ट सुचलेलं आहे ते आम्ही शब्दामध्ये बोलू शकत नाही. फार मोठा तपश्चर्या आमची आहे आणि यामध्ये त्याचं फार मोठं कष्ट जे आहे त्याचं कष्ट फार मोठं आहे हे आम्ही विसरून चालत नाही.
मोठं योगदान याच्यामध्ये वाटतंय आपल्याला. आपलं योगदान तर आहे, पण
आमच्या परिवाराचं योगदान आहेच. त्याशिवाय त्याच्या ज्या कोच मॅडम आहेत, दीपाली देशपांडे मॅडम, हे यांचं फार मोठं श्रेय आहे. कारण त्यांना परवाच गुरुपौर्णिमे दिवशी बोलून दाखवलेलं आहे की माझ्या त्या कोचच नाहीत दीपाली देशपांडे मॅडम, तर त्या माझ्या आई सुद्धा आहेत आणि तेवढ्या माझी ते काळजी घेत आहेत. त्यामुळं दीपाल देशपांडे यांचं तितकंच आमच्या इतकं त्यांचं ते श्रेय आहे असं मी समजतोय आणि साऱ्या देशवासियांच्या शुभेच्छा आणि त्यांचं प्रेम आहे. यामुळे हे त्याला पुण्यही मिळालेले आहे. माझी आई, माझे आजोब, माझे वडील या सर्वांनी मेहनत करून आम्हाला मोठं केले. माझ्या दोघा भावांना, आम्ही दोघे शिक्षक आहोत आणि त्यांच्या कष्टाचं चीज झालेलं आहे. आम्ही आता मॅच बघताना अगदी आमच्या डोळ्यात पाणी येत होतं. खरोखर आम्ही सुवर्ण पदकाच्या आशेनं बघत होतो, पण दुर्दैवानं आम्हाला मिळालं नसो, पण माझा तिरंगा झेंडा माझ्या मुलग्यांना खाली पडू दिला नाही याचा मला सार्थ अभिमान वाटतो.
यासारखे दिग्गज खेळाडू ते दिले आम्ही. त्याच्यानंतर आता कुसळेचं नाव लागलेलं काय सांगा?
नक्कीच मला अभिमान वाटतो की या जिल्ह्यामध्ये विशेषतः आणि महाराष्ट्रामध्ये बोललं जातं की कुसाळे म्हणजे नेमबाजी, कुसाळे म्हणजे नेमबाजी. कारण यापूर्वी जयसिंगराव कुसाळे नावाचे आमचे एक फार मोठे नेमबाज होऊन गेले, ते वारलेले आहेत आणि आम्ही त्यांच्याच कुटुंबातले आहोत का असं आम्हाला विचारलं जातं. पण त्यांचा परिवार वेगळा, आमचा वेगळा, त्यांचं गाव वेगळं, आमचं गाव वेगळं आणि पण या ठिकाणी कुसाळे परिवाराचं आणि महाराष्ट्राचं, जिल्ह्याचं, देशाचं नाव स्वप्नील अगदी चांगलं केलेलं आहे. त्याबद्दल आम्हाला गर्व वाटतो आणि माझं गाव छोटं गाव आहे, 1200 वस्तीचं माझं गाव आहे. आमच्या परिवाराचं, गावाचं नाव त्यांनी उज्ज्वल केलं, यात मला फार मोठा आनंद वाटतो.
चमकू शकतो हे स्वप्नीलनं दाखवून दिलेलं आहे.
जर माणसाची मोठी इच्छाशक्ती असेल तर त्या ठिकाणी अगदी खडकावर सुद्धा असो, डोंगरामध्ये असो, कुठेही माणूस असो तो आपला चमक दाखवू शकतो. हे त्यानं स्वप्नीलनं अगदी सिद्ध करून दाखवलेलं आहे. कारण भले पैसा जवळ असो नसो, जर मेहनत असेल आपल्या अंगामध्ये, आपली इच्छाशक्ती मोठी असेल तर त्या ठिकाणी मात्र माणूस आपलं करिअर त्या टोकापर्यंत पोहोचू शकतो. हे त्याच्या कार्यातून सिद्ध झालेलं आहे. स्वप्निल ने जो आज पदक जीता है, यह पदक हमें सारे देशवासियों के लिए समर्पित किया है उन्होंने. आज हमें गर्व है कि स्वप्निल का एक स्वप्न था कि मुझे ओलंपिक में पदक जीतना है. अपने परिवार के लिए, गांव के लिए, सारे देशवासियों के लिए उसने पदक जीता है. हमें सभी लोगों को इसका गर्व है, अभिमान भी होता है.
कितने साल से स्वप्निल मेहनत कर रहा है, किस तरह से आप देखेंगे?
जब स्वप्निल ने 8वीं कक्षा पास की तब से यह अपने नेमबाजी का सराव करता रहा. आज तक उन्होंने कभी अपने इस खेल में कभी आलस नहीं किया, कोई दिरंगाई नहीं.
Welcome back. The Israeli military has confirmed that it had killed Wayanad Landslide, the elusive leader of Hamas's military wing, who has long been one of Israel's most wanted militants and who was believed to be an architect of the October 7 attack on Israel. Now, the announcement comes just a day after Ismail Haniyeh, the exiled leader of Hamas's political bureau, was killed in an explosion in Tehran. Both Hamas and Iran have blamed Israel, which has declined to confirm or deny its involvement in that. Now, Dev, who had survived several previous Israeli assassination attempts, was the number 2 Hamas leader in Gaza. Israel said it killed him in a strike last month in southern Gaza's, and Israel's government has made had made eliminating Hamas's leadership a stated goal of the war, and his death would be counted as a major victory in that effort. Now, how Hamas's operations could be affected remains to be seen, because Israel has killed many senior commanders in the past only to see the group swiftly replace them. Let me just confirm to you though how it's been a few days of great successes for Israel though. Even if some of the announcements have been belated, and even though Israel isn't directly acknowledging its role in some of the recent assassinations. So on 13th July is when Mohammed Deif was killed. This strike took place on 13th July, has only been confirmed today. But on 30th July, Hezbollah senior commander Fuad Shukr was killed in an Israeli strike, and on the same day, the Iranian military advisor Milad Bibi was also killed in the same strike. And then, of course, the one that made global headlines yesterday, 31st July, Hamas chief Ismail Haniyeh was confirmed killed in Tehran at his residence along with a bodyguard. So two top Hamas chiefs killed. Let's tell you more about them. Hamas military chief Mohammed Deif killed in this strike on July 13 in southern Gaza, as I mentioned. He was the architect, or believed to be one of the architects, of October 7 attack. Deif was one of the founders of Hamas's military wing and has led the force for more than 20 years now, since the 1990s when it was first founded. Hamas's political chief Ismail Haniyeh was killed in Tehran, and this strike took place when he was with a bodyguard of his as well. Haniyeh was in the Iranian capital to attend the swearing-in of the new Iran president and was spearheading Gaza's ceasefire talks. So what impact happens because of that as well remains to be seen. So Hamas's top two have been eliminated, further escalating tensions. And how could this complicate the situation in the Middle East or for the entire world is what everybody is trying to decipher now, because this can lead to possible escalation. There is a risk of retaliation from Iran because one of the strikes happened in Iran. Could negatively also impact the ceasefire talks, as I mentioned, because Haniyeh was involved in that. Hamas's diplomacy with other Arab countries actually could take a hit as well. And there could be a bid to elect a new chief by the Shura Council, which also risks exposure for it. So how does this impact the Israel-Gaza war? With that, how could it impact other countries, including India? That's coming up with our experts.
במטרה לסכל את מוחמד דף.
Let's go across to our guest joining us. Adam Scott Bellos is CEO of the Israel Innovation Fund. He's joining us from Jerusalem. Adam, can I begin by asking you about the sentiment that exists in Israel as multiple key strikes have been confirmed?
I would have to, first of all, thank you for having me. It's great to be back on CNN News 18 again. I have to say the sentiment in Israel is quite jovial, to be completely honest. Everybody is quite happy to see the results that we've seen over the last month. And I want to make a correction about something that you said earlier. You called this the Israel-Gaza war. This is not the Israel-Gaza war. This is the Israel-Iran war. And this is the war that's been brewing for the last 15, 20 years, to say the least. It's very clear, based on the footage that came from the funeral today, that the Ayatollah is quite fair given how often he looked up to the sky, given the fact that these leaders have met their end from weapons via the sky. Israel has made it very clear that when you attack the Jews, it doesn't end well for you. And now Israel has been able to show its strength given the distraction of the U.S. in their elections without any, I guess you could say, shackles on their military hands, so to speak. Clearly, the enemies of the state of Israel who perpetrated October 7th and have continued to fight Israel on a three-front war clearly seem to be outmanned and outgunned by the Jewish state.
Okay.
Also, I think it's very interesting that the U.S. brought their fleet over to the Mediterranean, and I think it's very clear that we are starting to flex our muscles in a way that we were not earlier.
I was going to ask you about the escalation, particularly when it comes to Iran. You do see this essentially as a conflict between Israel and Iran. So how prepared are Israelis that this conflict could in fact become a full-fledged Israel-Iran war now?
I think the majority of the people in Israel have been prepared for escalation for months. I can say that I'm actually in Tel Aviv, not Jerusalem.
Okay.
And we obviously there was the attack on Israel via Iran a few weeks ago, which was completely unsuccessful. There was a 99.9% interception rate on missiles and drones. Obviously, the drone attack recently behind me, just back here near the U.S. consulate, shook us a little bit, but it's also clear that the military plans of our enemies have not really gone as planned, and they have been quite overwhelmed by our superior fighting forces and our superior military, and what's called our QME, our quantitative military edge that our allies have always tried to ensure that we have. I also find it very interesting that none of the countries that are involved in the Abraham Accords, or what Netanyahu is now referring to as the Abraham Alliance, have not condemned any of these assassinations. And I think that's a very important thing
it's a telling
to note.
sign. All right.
I think that the world
I want to go across.
is tired
Adam,
of
just stay with me. I
extremism.
want to go across to Tara
Yeah,
Karta,
it's a
who's a
telling sign.
distinguished fellow from Institute of Peace and Conflict Studies. Tara, thanks a lot for your time. How do you see this expanding? How should the world look at this now? And what could be the concerns for India?
See, one can't help but sympathize with Israel in most cases, because we are going through a similar thing where we are getting by a state-sponsored actor. So we get that, and we get the fact that killing these guys is going to cause a lot of, triumphal feeling in Israel that the man who did October 7th has been eliminated. At least I hope he has, because this is one man who has been very, very difficult to catch. I mean, he elusive for decades. We still have to confirm I think 100% whether he's dead or not. I don't know. But on the other side is the problem that terrorist decapitation doesn't work that well. And I think Israel knows that better than anyone else. They've done this for years. You remember, I think it was 1989, Abbas Mousavi, who was killed together with his son. And in a string of them, which hasn't really helped in this conflict. Also, the kind of research which has been thrown up, which shows that if you have a terrorist group like something like Al-Qaeda, which is, very central, you bump off that guy, it works. But when you have a group which has got a very wide political base, then killing that leader may actually worsen things. So like I said, while I get that sentiment of
clearly the current leadership of Hamas had to pay. Apart from that, whether Hamas dies or not is a separate question, and I don't think anybody's kind of writing an epithet for Hamas itself or the movement itself. But I want to understand from you, Tara, how does this impact the Middle East? Do you see the fact that this could escalate into a full-blown war or not? Or do you think even other countries like Iran, Lebanon are going to be very circumspect?
I mean, the whole thing hinges on Iran, right? I mean, it is Iran who will decide. And I think the US and China, they are all calling for an end to this war, because it's hurting a lot of people. I mean, there's an economic fallout. There's a lot of other things there. And a kind of a blowing up of the Middle East is not in anybody's interest, right? So that is something we'll not. But having said that, I don't expect that the US will back off from backing Israel in the near future, regardless of whether Trump comes or anybody else comes. That's going to continue. Iran is not going to back off either.
And how should India look at it? What could be the concerns for India, Tara?
See, we have this whole, I mean, to put it very bluntly, for us, peace in the Middle East matters for the reasons which you already know, in terms of oil price, in terms of the IMEC, which we had hoped to, we really put a lot of diplomatic, apples in that basket. So we want IMEC to go through. We want to get it. I mean, that goes through Israel and all the rest of it. So Iran for us, Chabahar, all that matters. So this is an endless war. I mean, look at how it has spread across the world in terms of protests. That is what is frightening. And that in turn will lead to other kind of escalatory effects in other countries.
No, absolutely. I think that is, we've seen certainly since October 7, that is the real danger here as well. That actually this is not contained to the region. The fire of this, Israel-Palestine conflict, Israel-Iran conflict has spread across the world. And we've already seen some element of very, very poor anti-Semitic behavior coming to light, people's lives being put at risk all around the world. And you never know what lunatics may do for a certain ideology. Adam, I want to give you a final word as well. If you're prepared for a bigger battle or a bigger war, without the proxies and the real people involved, this could be long drawn out. And many experts feel this is an endless war that Israel is unfortunately complicated with. So how do Israelis see this war or an end to this conflict?
So it's already in a drawn out war. It's been almost a year. Okay, we're at day 300 today. Okay, so that's one thing. Two, a full-blown war, which I believe that we're already in. It just hasn't directly involved Iran, other than the one attack that was perpetrated a few weeks ago. It's very clear the Middle East needs to be cleaned up. It's very clear that the world... Yes, I actually do believe that it can be, because I think many people are sick of the hegemony of Sunni Arab extremism and also Shiite extremism. If you look at Iran, Iran is basically a Shiite empowerment movement of radical Islam, vice versa with ISIS and Hamas being a Sunni version of that. I think it's very important to note that the Israeli people and the Jewish state are completely ready to eradicate their enemies from the Middle East and give birth to the new Middle East that many people have dreamed of since the creation of the State of Israel. And if you really think about the formation of the modern Middle East, it was once a mosaic of minorities that ended up becoming dominated by Sunni extremists who really vitriolically tried to destroy the State of Israel, and they were unable to do so. You know, if you remember many years ago, Benjamin Netanyahu gave a speech about at Bar Ilan University, talking about a demilitarized Palestinian state during the time of the great upheavals known as the Arab Spring, where he said this is happening because the 20th century passed the Arab world by, and all of the people living in Israel, both Arab, Jewish, and Christian, are living a much higher standard of living than the rest of the Middle East. And it's because instead of focusing on destroying our enemies, we focused on building our state and defending ourselves. Okay. So I think that anybody that doubts the ability for us to clean up the Middle East, and also the ability for moderate Arabs to throw off the yoke of radical Islam, I think underestimates the power that many people, just like you and me, want to be able to live their lives normally, if that makes any sense.
Well, this is a larger existential question, really, because the threat that exists in the Middle East is being seen in various shades and colors across the world as well. And in many ways, many countries are fighting the same battle. But can it be won, or is it an endless civilizational battle, is the big question. Adam, I've run out of time. I do thank you and Tara Karta for joining us. We'll, of course, keep a very close eye on the activities in the Middle East. Time for me to take your leave. The Hard Facts is coming up after a short break.
Climate change is on our doorstep. It's time for a revolution to take root. And it starts with 1.4 billion Indians. It starts with one tree. One tree for humanity. One tree for Mother Earth. One tree for our future. Project One Tree, a News 18 network initiative.
Co-powered by हमेशा एक दिन वो खाना खाने के लिए रुकता था, लेकिन अपना प्रैक्टिस कभी नहीं उसने रुका दिया। मुझे गर्व है कि हमेशा ये हम जब फोन करते थे तब ये हमेशा अपने प्रैक्टिस में रहता था। अपने फायरिंग का आवाज हमें सुनने मिलता था जब हम फोन करते तब हमें अच्छा लगता था।
कसं स्वागत आता स्वप्नीलचं करणार आहे, कारण तो आता एक अभिमानाचा क्षण घेऊन परततोय।
हा, आम्ही नक्कीच या ठिकाणी अगदी कोल्हापूरपासून त्याचं जंगी स्वागत करू।
External Affairs Minister, now shifting our attention to another brilliant piece of news coming in from Paris Olympics 2024. Another bronze for India. This is India's Swapnil Kusale, who's bagged a bronze in the 50-meter 3P event, and also the first such medal that India has managed to win in this particular category. India so far has had no medal in the 50-meter 3P event. Remember, as far as 10-meter air rifle is concerned, and in the latest 10-meter air pistol as well, India has been able to prove its mettle. But the first medal ever for India in the 50-meter 3P event, and this is Swapnil Kusale winning a bronze for India this time around. It was a rough start for Swapnil Kusale as far as the medal round is concerned, but the last few shots, ever since the elimination round began, he pretty much has been steady at number 3 and now winning a bronze for India. Great news coming in, a third bronze for the country after Manu Bhaker in 10-meter air pistol. Followed by Manu Bhaker and Sarabjot Singh combined in 10-meter pistol mixed team event. Now Swapnil Kusale bagging a bronze in the 50-meter 3P event. Another bronze, which means 3 bronze medals for India at the Paris Olympics 2024. This is great news coming in for the shooting contingent. All 3 medals so far, remember, have come in from shooting in different events. All 3 different events: 10-meter pistol, 10-meter pistol mixed team, and now 50-meter 3P event. The family, of course, taking to celebrations already. Let's quickly cut across live to live reactions coming in.
मला खात्री होती मला खात्री होती की गेल्या 12-13 वर्षाची स्वप्नची तपश्चर्या, त्याचं जे कष्ट आहे तो कधी भुलणार नाही आणि आपला तिरंगा झेंडा तो कधीही खाली पडू देणार नव्हता याची मला खात्री होती. भले तो तिसरा आला तरी चालेल, पण त्यांना तिरंगा ध्वज आपला फडकत ठेवलेला आहे याचा मला अभिमान वाटतो. धन्यवाद.
भारत देशात सगळा झेंडा फत्करला त्याचा अभिमान आहे मला. जय हिंद, जय महाराष्ट्र.
वाटत आहे की माझ्या भावाने आपल्या देशासाठी ब्रॉन्झ मेडल मिळालं, त्याबद्दल मी सर्व देशवासियांचे आभारी आहे आणि पूर्ण सगळे जगातले ज्यांनी बघितले आहे त्यांना सर्वांचे मी मनपूर्वक आभारी आहे.
काय कशा पद्धतीने सपोर्ट केला तुम्ही फॅमिली म्हणून?
गेले अनेक वर्षे, गेले 14-15 वर्ष आम्ही त्याच्यासाठी जे पर्यावरण कष्ट सुचलेलं आहे ते आम्ही शब्दामध्ये बोलू शकत नाही. फार मोठा तपश्चर्या आमची आहे आणि यामध्ये त्याचं फार मोठं कष्ट जे आहे त्याचं कष्ट फार मोठं आहे हे आम्ही विसरून चालत नाही.
मोठं योगदान याच्यामध्ये वाटतंय आपल्याला. आपलं योगदान तर आहे, पण
आमच्या परिवाराचं योगदान आहेच. त्याशिवाय त्याच्या ज्या कोच मॅडम आहेत, दीपाली देशपांडे मॅडम, हे यांचं फार मोठं श्रेय आहे, कारण त्यांना परवाच गुरुपौर्णिमे दिवशी बोलून दाखवलेलं आहे की माझ्या त्या कोचच नाहीत दीपाली देशपांडे मॅडम, तर त्या माझ्या आई सुद्धा आहेत आणि तेवढ्या माझी ते काळजी घेत आहेत. त्यामुळं
This is CNN News 18 and Federal Bank Prime Time Studio.
You're with the hard facts from the CNN News 18 and Federal Bank Primetime Studio. Viewers, there's been a major turning point with regard to the claim made by Hindus in the Krishna Janambhoomi matter. The Allahabad High Court has ruled in favor of Hindus in a decisive intervention against the Muslim side.